Maybe restarting again. Maybe the patch is live now. Okay, so big announcement. Basically, at LACS, I was asked by some people because we were talking a lot about the game. I was talking with all the people, and they were like, "You know what? Why don't you?" Because I was talking about like all the balance changes that were coming up and the devs, and we were talking about the testers and how the game was being developed and the balance changes, and there's leaked patch notes, etc. And they were like, why don't you become a tester? And I was like, I don't really have the time. I feel like I want to be a competitor first. But I mean, I guess testers are allowed to compete. Even though in my opinion you shouldn't, shouldn't be able to. But then Crag happened. And then I decided that, maybe they need a melee player on the tester team, This is literally me, bro. Dude, they needed a melee player desperately on the tester team. I'm also advocating for more European and melee players to get on the testing teams, because there's a lot of very good melee players, as you can see from LACS. And given that this game is very much like melee in a lot of ways, and like Rivals in some ways, you definitely need multiple perspectives. That said, I'm just a tester. I'm not a developer. None of the changes that are made, I have a final say in, or anyone on the testing team. Is it cheating, or do you have an advantage as a tester? I still think yes. I think in an ideal world, the people that are main they have in-house testers that are not allowed to compete. But Rivals is not really big enough for that. Not even close to have 10 players that are just hired permanently to test the game. So, the extent, the testing isn't really an advantage at this point to the level it was before. Because before, if you were a tester, which, to be fair, I was invited to be a tester before as well, you could legit play the game on official servers for I think 2 months before release or something, minimum. And I just didn't take it because I didn't think you were going to be able to compete, because I don't think you should be able to compete if you're playing pre-release, at least not for a little bit. And I also think, I also did not have time. I didn't know if I'll even like the game.
Is a rival?
But yeah,
is it a
I think I'll have a little bit of an opinion influence, but it's much more just discussing things. And at least by this point, and by the people that are testers now, there's some people that had to leave for various reasons. It seems like the opinions that I have are actually not in the minority at all. Not every change that we're talking about, or the general opinion is going to make it into this patch. This is just the first patch, the December 3rd patch. A lot of things are going to come still, in January and so on. So if you're disappointed by this patch not changing enough, I would say chill out a little bit, because we're still doing things. I also had zero say in this patch, by the way. I joined after the final patch was already made. So if whenever the patch notes come out and you see the changes,
What is a rival?
know that I did not have any say in any of them. And there is some changes that I very much disagree on.
Yourself.
One character in specific, which you're gonna be able to see soon. I think they almost sawdowed a character, and I expect him to be reverted or compensated later. Oh, we got it. We're in. Jesus Christ, bro. Who died? Oh, dude, I have a cold, so this is going to be annoying. It's time for our first big patch with balance updates and so on. We've been loving blah, blah, blah. Patch philosophy. While we're tracking overall roster balance, that is not our priority right now. We're more concerned about mechanics and gameplay that are both frustrating to play against and reward players for voting interaction. Our goal between Rival Studios is to be long-term competitive games just like S1, and we know that achieving perfect balance is a constant pursuit. Our plan is to update the game twice a month with new store content, and we're not afraid to include a small number of gameplay changes in those updates as issues arise. But you can typically expect at least a couple months between big balance updates like this one. Okay. Now for the first update, the game and the meta is still very fresh. While we're tracking overall roster balance, that is not our priority. More concerned about mechanics, interaction, DJ, blah, blah, blah. In later patch, we will be looking closer at how the roster is stacking up against each other, but for now, we want to let the meta develop after adjusting some of the more frustrating tools. I think this is... you can leave feedback here as well. I do think this patch is a good patch in the right direction. That does not mean it's a perfect patch, and I also think there are some big things that I really think the team needs to work more on. One thing that I often bring up is like I still think recovers need universally nerfs, and a lot of other testers think that too. Knockback growth and killing percent still needs a big change in my opinion. And I think the way you should patch this game is to make sure that recoveries feel good, and killing feels good, and comboing feels good, and floaties and fast followers are both like balanced and feel good playing it against each other, and then you actually balance like, oh, this character's too good, this character's too bad. Especially because we don't have that many big tournaments over the winter. Like until Genesis, there's not anything really big. Dickono, thank you so much. Shield being too strong. The attacker has a clear advantage. In practice, getting perfectly spaced shield pressure isn't always feasible. Shield ends up being strong and neutral. So shields are getting a slight nerf. Parry being too weak against projectiles. Parries are getting a big buff against projectiles. I believe it's frame 3 now, specifically when you're parrying without being in shield first. So recoveries being too strong make it successful. Edge guards too rare. Because of the inherent strengths of wall jump cancelable recovery moves, it can feel impossible to prevent characters from making it back to the stage without sending them directly into the blast zone. To increase the chances for counterplay against most recoveries, which changes the universal mechanic as well as character-specific recovery nerfs. Okay, I don't know if there's universal mechanic nerfs, but maybe there are some that I haven't seen yet. Character balance. It's too early to make balance turns based on any tier list, so instead we're targeting specific, annoying, oversend, overly safe strategies. Replay menu rework. Match info. Okay, that's cool. I'm gonna save my breath on not reading everything because I'm sick. You cannot purchase bundles. Tornimo DSR. Oh, nice. So DSR is available now. Winner main menu. Performing. I like how they go from lobby to parry. Yeah, so parry will now parry projectiles starting on frame 3. This is from frame 6. Parrying an article after already successfully parrying something else would now give you half the normal hit pause. Pretty rare situation, but one example is parrying Loxodon and empower strong attacks, which will lock you into the parry state for long enough to make Loxodon fairly safe from being punished. Tilt cancels will now use the same joystick mapping as normal tilts. Okay. This is like slight input change. Colliding with another player will now apply a constant force to push them apart instead of applying gradually increasing. This makes pushback happen faster, decreasing situations where players are overlapping for a long period of time. Okay. I have no idea. I didn't even notice that change when I played. Oh yeah, so minimum number of shield frames before you can release shield is 0 to 7. And then shield release is 10 to 15. So 5 more frames. Basically meaning that you can't just like instantly tap shield and you're going to have to wait to shut a shield more. Unless you know, perfect shield. Where you can drop and cancel instantly. Shield also recharges a little bit slower. About 25% slower. Hitting the opponent or their shield will now restore shield health equal to the half of the damage dealt. I think this is a cool change. So, if you're just playing defensive, you can shield break someone easier. But if you're hitting them back, then you get shield health back. Shield pushback formula adjusted to have more pushback from high damage attacks. I haven't noticed this too much. I don't think it's that crazy big, but we'll see. Low damage mostly unchanged. We're pushing back the first actionable frame. Okay, so spot dodge basically are 3 frames longer overall, but they have more invincibility. So you can like preemptively spot dodge like a Rhino side B better, but they are worse at punishing grabs. Successful attacks will now reset the tech lock at timer. I don't like this personally. I like it more how it's a melee, because now you can tech in place and the ASDI down tech again. Oh yeah, air dodging to ledge will now remove all ledge entangleability. So if you air dodge to the edge right away, you don't get extra invul from grabbing the edge. You still get double jump back though. This is an action so this is a recovery nerf. It's not a huge one, but it matters. It also makes missing your ledge stash a little bit riskier. I think it's rare to miss it personally, but it's possible, especially at lower levels. I think this is a weird change personally, but I think it might be good eventually. I think right now I don't like this change actually. Hitting an opponent will now only restore one of your intaggable ledge grabs instead of restoring all 3. I think this essentially makes edge guarding harder, and I think that is not what we want right now. But in theory, this makes you edge guard in multiple ways more often and not loop, ledge jump back airs. Starting an attack will no longer reset the ledge grab out lock at timing. When releasing the ledge, you can grab ledge again for 30 frames. This lockout also applies to the wall tech, which is why attacking will reset time. I don't know what this effectively does. If there's like some ledge stalls that doesn't work anymore, I'm not sure. Getting flinched by a new attack will already in the flinch state will now reduce the flinch duration by 30%. This removes some guaranteed flinch loops. Fleet downer, random forward air, okay downer. That's good. That was really degen. I got downered by Clarion as Maypole. And they did 5 downers in a row, I think. And I couldn't do anything. Because it just like kept looping the flinch. Bug fix. Oh yeah, the like tilt boost joystick buffer was fixed. So now you have to manually time it again. I'm trying to see if any of these are interesting. No, it's mostly just bug fixes. Setterburn is pretty close to where we want him, so we're fixing down special and toning down some of his options that confirm into up strong. So up special, final hit stun, multiplier. If you get hit by up B, you have a little bit less hit stun. Down special, diving hit can no longer reverse. And this was a big thing. Down special, diving hit stun multiplier, 0.85. Down Setterburn down special was legit the strongest spike in the game, despite not even being strong, because it just had like a fuck ton of hit stun because they're supposed to connect into the second hit. But obviously when you do it in the air as a spike, it doesn't happen. Jabs generally do 1 less damage. This is like a universal thing. I think this change is very minor, but yeah, so back has a tiny bit more knockback growth to make it a little bit harder to do back air and top smash, but it knocks down earlier. And back air has a little bit less disjoint. All right, Rano is a speed demon who can overwhelm opponents with large, fast hitboxes that can be difficult to punish. He has some of the most reliable kill confirms in the game. Not against floaties. So this patch aims to require more precision spacing to achieve his goals. We have also found his recovery to be a little bit stronger than intended, specifically when using tongue sling on bubble. In order to address this, we're adding a bit of commitment on tongue sling while attempting to maintain the fun movement tech that comes with it. So 4 special tongue recovery frames is 10 to 8. But so this is less recovery. You can act faster, but you can no longer jump or attack cancel while slinging to your bubble. So basically, if you're doing something that is not attack or jump, it's slower to cancel. It's faster to cancel now, but attack and jump are 8 frames slower from tongue sling. So nerf for recovery, but it's still good, especially if it like tongue is still really good if you're really far away, basically. Rano is definitely not top 1 by a large margin. What the fuck? Up special dive ground fiction. So it's about half as easy to slide off from up B, which I think is good. That shit was really degen. Looping that shit in neutral. Up special rising top hitbox radius is smaller, so it's easier to like hit Rano up B at the top of it. And I think the hitbox is also weaker. It's a bug fix. It was supposed to have a weaker top hit, but yeah, these are actually really big nerfs to up B, and it also makes the recovery worse. It makes its edge guarding worse because sometimes you would, hit them and then you would both up B at the same time, and you would get the strong hitbox, leading to a knockdown, and then be able to continue the edge guard or go on stage for a tech chase. But now a lot of the time they will be able to CC the top part of the up B, or they won't be knocked down. Up special poison darts will no longer force flinch. So the spin from up B into pressing A doesn't cause flinch anymore. I don't really get this because I think this is I thought that move was almost useless before. Had a really niche use, and now it's even worse. Oh yeah, exiting the poison bubble will now inflict the minimum 10 frames of hit stun. This is a good change, I think. It means that you don't have to perfectly time hitting the bubble to combo from the bubble. But it also means that when Rano himself gets sent into the bubble, he can't fast forward with a fair instantly. This is an interesting change. This is a universal change made to a lot of floaty characters, that he has more gravity when he's combos, so he's a bit more of a fast folder. I think this is a good step, but there definitely needs more. There definitely needs to be more changes to make floaties comboable. I don't think Rando is the big problem either. I think Fleet and Raster were way bigger problems. Okay, so down tilt changes, 2 more recovery frames. Sour Spot especially is way worse, but Tipper is still pretty good. But they also nerfed F Smash knockback growth and up smash knockback growth. So I think down tilt into either smashes is going to kill way less consistently. I actually really dislike this way of nerfing it, because down tilt is one of the few good whiff punishes in this game, and F smash, like, I don't think Rando's problem was that he killed too early, especially with his smashes, because these changes is gonna mean that it's almost impossible. It was already almost impossible, but now it's like truly almost impossible to ever kill confirm a floaty with Rano. I'll have to try it more because every character is a bit they fall a bit faster now, but I really don't like how they're nerfing Rano by making him kill worse, because I already thought he was really bad at killing in high percent compared to the best characters, not compared to, like, the worst characters. Yeah, and also you have to be more precise when you do down smash and F smash to get the tipper. Fair Sour Spot is a little bit bigger, I think. Weak backer's worse for edge guarding because it has less of a disjoint from below. So falling on top of, like, up beast is worse. Back, and it just got, like, damage reductions. So it's worse on shield and has 1 frame more landing lag. Still a good move. Down throw has more recovery, and it has more knockback growth. So it's DIing away on down throws better, basically. And then it's just bug fixes. But this one is actually a nerf, where up B rising hit has a Sour Spot. Overall, Rando still felt pretty strong. He just really struggles to kill now versus floaties. So I personally think that he is hit harder than some other characters, because all of his main ways of killing is getting more and more nerfed, and a lot of characters are still not edge guardable at all. But we'll see. Raster. While Raster's slipstream only activating on hit, introducing counterplay to this incredibly strong mechanic, ended up creating a less interesting neutral game, since the best way to prevent Raster from powering up was to avoid being on the same plane as him entirely. When try introducing more counterplay to enable opponents to interact with Raster while still forcing interaction, activate slipstream. This is a really good change. So it no longer spawns on shield. So you can shield it now. This is an interesting change that I think needs to happen more across the board, where up B is weaker at low percents, making cheese kills a little bit harder, but it's stronger at higher percents. So this, like, Martharitis thing that everyone has right now is reduced a little bit, but cheese kills a little bit worse. I think this change needs to be universal for, like, so many moves. But I know a lot of other testers have the same opinion. Up special recovery gravity. So these changes delay his edge grab by 6 frames without changing the height of the grab. So basically you can, like, CC top part of up B and then, like, down tilt them before now. Dash attack back hitbox removed. This is actually a bit more noticeable than you might think, because you would do, like, back hit of dash attack into things. Downer hit 1 hit stun multiplier is 0.9, so basically has less hit stun. And back throw startup is 2 frames slower. This doesn't mean that you can react to back throw itself generally, and it doesn't mean that he can't combo as well from it. It just means that you can react a little bit better to being grabbed and back thrown. If you know that once you do get grabbed, you're gonna get back thrown. Crag has a lot of strengths that can be overwhelming to play against. So I want to make sure his weaknesses offset those strengths. Wait. Why did Raster not get any weight changes? So you still can't combo Raster? Okay. Go to Crag. This applies to all rock throws and cargo throws. Yeah, this is 2 frames. This doesn't fucking matter. This like very slightly matters, but it's barely matters. Neutral special rock grab recovery. So recovery has 2 frames more startup, so it's still unreactable. And the recovery is 3 frames longer. You can still do rock throw to rock throw all the time. And there's a buff here where you can hold the shield button during neutral special to make it unable to grab rocks. So someone that's standing close to a rock, you can neutral B someone. Rock is now a little bit easier to hit because there's a bigger hurt box. I think this is overall a Crag buff because he hits the rock more than anyone. Yeah, exactly. These changes make it break canceling more consistent with Crag. This is a really weird change in my opinion. Canceling 4 special would no longer count towards 4 special diminishing return counter. This allows you to use 4 special cancel while recovering without making your next 4 special worse should you get knocked back off stage. I don't know why Crag needed any recovery buffs. Especially 2-4 special. Up B and 4 special canceling landing lag from 22 to 28. This is only if you land on the stage with side B and up B, which in my opinion happens incredibly rarely. Like incredibly rarely. Not that you like, basically, yes, sometimes they land on stage, but most of the time, the issue is not that they land on stage, it's that once they land on stage, he gets a gazillion options back, right? Because now he's on the ground, he can ASDI down tech, he can arms attack, he has his double jump, his up B, everything back. And he also still goes really far onto the stage, so oftentimes you can't just hit, you can only hit him towards the stage, or like inside of the stage. You can't throw him off again. And really, like, I don't think these extra frames make it so you can like 6 frames is not enough for you now to be able to F smash him when he lands on stage. And I think, yeah, it basically doesn't do much except like slight quality of life. Up special summon recovery is 5 frames slower. So if you whiff up B or if you predict them, I'm gonna do it. It's a little bit easier to hit him out of it. This one might matter, but I don't think it matters. Like, it only matters for some edge cases. It doesn't remove an option at all, right? And it's still the same on hit. Just works on whiff. Pillar will now restore crack spirits right when it spawns. Another recovery buff. It's only slight though. This is a good change for other people. This helps, like, hitting pillar will now restore your wall jump. This helps players recover while after being forced on wall jump and then break pillar when turning stage. I don't think this, like, I've never done this myself though. Maybe some characters do it more. Aerial down special, aerial drift. Yeah, so now he can drift better during down B in the air. Okay. Very dumb change in my opinion. That move did not need any buffs. It does have significantly worse recovery though. You saw a lot of Krags getting cheese kills like Ion and ZB with like down air in down B into downer, which does not work anymore. His weight is 2 lighter, which is basically nothing. Like I never noticed the weight change when I played against Krag in the new version. His max fall speed is a little bit slower. This one might change a little bit, but he's still the fastest falling change characters. And this one actually matters a bit more because these two together make him die a little bit earlier to upwards killing moves like up smashes. Up till hit damage does 2 less damage, I think. Yeah, 2 less damage. It's still broken move. 2 Krag before did 60 from a hit while the average character did 20. Now he does 58. It doesn't change on shield. It was always unsafe on shield. F smash is 5 frames laggier. A little bit easier to punish. Doesn't matter much. Okay, here is fair. Got 1 frame more landing recovery and 1 frame more startup. And it has 0.5. Like it has less base knockback and a little bit less damage. So it kills a little bit worse and it does less damage on the sour spot. I have to see this change more, but it might change. This is a slight nerf. Backer now has an extra hurt box during the active frames. This reduces this one in the move significantly. This is a very good. But Backer also has 2 frames more recovery in the air and on the ground. However, it's still -3 on shield. It's still one of the best moves in the entire game. Maybe still the best aerial in the game. Probably still the best aerial in the game. Also, it's the worst angle though. Down, it gets 1 frame more lag. Still safe on shield. Up throw aerial recovery is 20. So this is not even on the ground. So he can still do up throw into combos. Just not in the air as much. Down throw startup is a little bit slower, but not recovery. Down throw knockback is strong. Wait. This will keep opponents closer at high percents, but they will have less hits done. So Krag won't be able to calm with the 4 strong onto much higher percent. Okay. This might be a buff in secret. If you can more consistently calm into down B and down smash and up smash. Cargo down throw knockback increase. Yeah. So basically, Krag is still the best. He's still easily the best in my opinion. Personally. That's my and I will be learning Krag. Hopefully he will be nerfed more in the next patch. Like Krag was already the best character in the game. Clearly, everyone agreed with this. And he got way less nerfs than the other characters. He got less nerfs than Rano. He got way less nerfs than Fleet. Fleet got nerfed more than Rano. And he got way less nerfs than Orcane, who got more nerfed than anyone else in this patch. Alright, on to Fleet. Fleet is possibly the most polarizing character in the game with quite a few highly favorable matchups. And one difficult one, they're talking about Clarion. Force Special has 3 forms for more recovery and parry. Remember, projectile parries are better now too. It's easier to hit the tornado as well. It also can't break projectiles, so you can use projectiles against it. Up B has less disjoint, This is very nice. That was very toxic. Down B when no going to parry stun if the hit arrow is parried. This is also very nice. This is just input shit. So she falls faster now during combos. So yeah, she became easier to combo. Craig did not. Not much. He got a tiny bit. Her air acceleration is way worse, 0.4 worse. So she has a way worse air acceleration now, but it's still good, and her peak speed is still the same. Universal jab change. Up strong, sweet spot knockback. Yeah, so basically up smash is less strong because it was as strong as Sederburn unpowered up smash before. Nair has less active frames. But the same recovery, or like, and recovery also adjusted. So just a tiny bit of the weak Nair at the end is gone, but this is not a big change. This one doesn't matter really. It's only if the final hit whiffs. Fair is a little bit less disjointed. And it's easier to... It's about the same to stay out. Back air has 1 frame more landing lag. It has less damage, so it's less safe on shield. 1 frame of landing lag. Like, it's still probably safe on shield. Up smash kills later, and there's less damage. Still very strong. The back throw, like sometimes you got like double back throw hit with the arrows. Up throw arrows now forces tumble. So this is easier to DI at very low percents. And up throw has 2 frames less recovery. So I think you should get a combo from up throw, but it's a bit harder now. I think especially landing upper is harder. And down throw is easier to DI now. Okay, so Maple. Maple also got some nerfs. But not as much as the other ones. Neutral seat damage does less, so you can't like just loop neutral B in neutral. Down B can now go through platforms for the first 2 active frames. This is like a neat little change. A little bit more extra movement options. I like this. Lily detection radius is very slightly smaller, so it's a little bit easier to DI out of like throwing into Lily. Tiny bit. And you can now grab Maple if she's standing above Lily or covered by Lily. And this is the big one. Innermost tail hurtbox default state entanglement to ungrabbable. So you can hit the tail now, but you can't grab it. So she's a little bit bigger when she's running and landing. So she low profiles less, which I think is good. Clarence character requires precision to do well, but someone removes a little bit for forgiving in the regard that it should be. Hitting up some of her tippers to make it more satisfying when she does land them. Also making up special. Much easier to contest since the recovery was a very difficult challenge. I don't get... They nerfed up B a lot. I feel like the change... Maybe this is future patches. But remember how they said recovery is being too strong? Because of the inherent strength of the wall jump cancelable recovery moves. I think the big thing they missed in this patch, and this is something I've brought up and I expect to be changed in the future, they didn't nerf those moves. The moves you do to get to the wall and then instantly wall jump from. That is the main problem with the recovery, honestly. And they didn't change that at all. Sederburn is net better this patch. Stop whining. I actually might pick up Sederburn now. Again. His nerfs are almost not noticeable. If you did not tell people about the Setter nerfs, you would not even notice. I promise you. Level 1 neutral special tipper range reduced slightly, so it's easier. It's harder. Up B has significantly less upward range, so you can hit it more easily. Up special, this very increases the distance she travels, while also adding 2 extra frames before she can ledge with it. So you can hit her in between. Up B has less air acceleration speed. Reduce our mix-up after using up B to recover high. Ledge special has less hit stun. Okay. More hit stun. Run speed is bigger. She's faster now. Okay. Her dash speed is still 21. Okay. So it's not a big change at all. Dash attack tip reduced a little bit, or adjusted rather. Better at launching at low percents or worse at coming at high percents. This is probably a net buff. F tilt got knockback increase. Dude, I might have to fucking play Clarion, man. F strong tipper hitboxes adjusted to make match animation better. Does that mean it's smaller, or is it the same, just different? F smash has 4 more frames of recovery for F smash. That changes nothing. That changes nothing, man. You could easily whip punish it before, punish it on shield before. Yeah, this might make it a little bit worse to combo at low percents, but it definitely doesn't change anything. It's still the GOAT F smash. Back air landing lag, 2 more frames. Sour spot does more damage. Oh, to make it like still safe on shield, I think. To help her reduce. Oh, more knockback at mid high percent to help her since offside. So she's better edge guarding. I like this. I like making back air stronger. Okay, so back air down strong was a guaranteed kill for me with too much leniency. Okay, it's still possible but tighter. Back air slightly bigger tippers. Okay, upper sour spot is more consistent. Upper tipper damage is higher. Upper tipper was hard to hit? Landing this difficult. What? Back throw startup is very slightly higher. Yeah, Clarion was definitely like about the same. The recovery nerve is noticeable. I really dislike that they nerfed up B but did not nerf side B. I feel like she will be even more pigeonholed into just side being to the wall and then wall jumping. And hopefully we can nerf the side B a lot, because the Clarion side B is the best recovery move in the game, basically, outside of like Crag up B. The problem to me was never the up B. The up B was dumb too, but the Clarion side B is the issue. It abuses like the wall tech mechanics incredibly well, because it's Clarion side B is invul frame 8. Invul frame 8 to 23, I think. So there's like 15 frame invul, kills you if you're late on it. This is a base thing, by the way. There's slight Loxodon nerfs. That's how I know the other tests were based. They were not fooled by the dumbass Loxodon down players. Yes, HBox, that's you. I'm talking to you. Yeah, basically just make it slightly harder to cover every option when people like teching on platforms and shit. Nair has 1 frame more landing lag and a slightly less damage. Still broken. Neutral special air acceleration means that you can't follow DI as well after like down B or down air. Still works. You barely feel this. It's just like if you had a wrong DI read, you can't follow as often. Okay, so the forward special, like instant forward special, was nerfed a little bit, but it now leaves lava pools behind. Um, uh, down B knockback angle is different, so it's hard to combo the downer. Lava pool active duration. This is a huge buff. What the fuck? They stay for infinite time. He lost 2 weight. He's a little bit. He falls a little bit faster. A little bit easier combo. Still turbo heavy. Still doesn't die from smashes at 150. Jab has 2 frame more recoveries. This doesn't matter. Like, it legit does not matter. Because the problem with jab 1 is the problem with jab 1 is not punishing jab 1 when you know he's gonna do jab 1 and into nothing. The problem with jab 1 is that you do jab 1 and then jab 2 or jab 1 F tilt. That's the problem. I think personally, I'm of the opinion that every jab in this game needs to have much higher whiff lag or not be cancelable to tilt on whiff. That's just me though. Okay, down throw startup is much less reactable, making it easier to mix up forward throw and up throw when lost on standing a low pool. This is a good change. Easier to attack the wall from down tilt, which is good. Loxodon like I want edge card to be stronger, but Loxodon standing on the edge and spamming neutral B and down tilt is not how I want it stronger. Here we go, man. These changes are like so far. There's been some good, some bad. Like obviously, Crag needs way more nerfs. He wasn't nerfed nearly enough. But this is the character where I really think they made missteps. I think Orcane is easily bottom 1 now, and he was already the least represented character in last patch. Basically, only Marlon's secondary Orcane was doing well in the entire scene. And Marlon has like accounts where he plays every single character and is top rank at it. But I think this is for the casuals. I personally think that at the highest level, Orcane was still far below the best characters. Like Crag Fleet. He was good though. Just not as good as but yeah, like I had no input on any of these changes, remember? I think Orcane feels like shit playing him. I didn't play him that much because he felt so shitty to play that I was like, there's no way. Like Orcane is maybe my favorite or second favorite character in this game, and I have 0 chance to play him this patch. I think he was bad and now he's dog shit. Like I put him second to worst last patch, which I don't know if I put him second to last, but I think he can't be much higher. The only characters I could see myself that on my last tier list, I would change some things, but the only character I would put below Orcane that wasn't below Orcane last patch is Loxodon. But I also think I might move Maple above Orcane in that tier list, so he's still second worst in my opinion. But yeah, I don't know. I personally think Orcane has some really toxic things, but I thought his base shit was too bad, so he was still not amazing. But he did have very, very toxic, like, some of the strongest things he had were incredible. I just think that the fact that he doesn't have, like, traditional aerials meant that he was too limited in neutral for a lot of things. He's also, I think, the only character with 0 compensation buffs. I don't think he got a single compensation buff. And he was also easily the most nerfed by system mechanics because parrying projectiles is easily the most influential against Arcane. Easily. Neutral special has 6 more recovery frames. Again, remember, Crag Backer got like 2 frames. Crag Forte got 1 frame. This is 6 frames. And so now you basically can't combo from it. You still get a mix up. And in rare cases, I think you can like jab. Or up tilt maybe. Neutral and down special drop with hit pulse. Okay, so less hit stun, I think. Tiny bit, but it's the Paulo spawns earlier. Forward special now has a large hurt box after teleporting until the active frames end. Forward special can no longer grab the edge for the first 10 frames of recovery window. So I like this change. This change is not that bad because you can wall jump from side B still. I just don't get why they nerf this and not Clarion side B, Crag side B, Setterburn down B into wall jump, you know? Why can Setterburn like down B 40 times during a recovery and instantly snap to the edge and also wall jump recover? But like Arcane gets a massive hurt box and has to wait 10 frames after reaching the edge before recovering. I don't get it. Okay, up B special smaller, I guess. This is the teleport. Down. This is a huge change. Down special no longer stalls momentum in the air. Wait, can I just show you guys? This is like an insanely big nerf. I think this might legitimately be the single biggest nerf in the entire patch. My controller doesn't work. Interesting. Like if you take one line, it's either this one or another change that we'll get to. That's also an Arcane based nerf. So, as you see, like he doesn't stall at all when he does this, which means that when he's getting juggled, he doesn't really have a good aerial because this one doesn't have good enough priority and this one loses to up tilts. This also means that when you get knocked back, how do I do this? I'm sad there's no training mode buffs. I was coping. Hello? Okay, this is gonna take a while. Training mode. Yeah, so you can't do this. Before you could do down B there to turn around and then fair recover. You can't do this anymore. He can't really use fair recovery anymore, nearly as well. Because the down B doesn't stall. Obviously, he can still neutral B. But neutral B is also 6 frames more recovery. So doing this is also way worse. And fair has more recovery. So if you whiff fair, you can't like move out of it. See how it's slow? You go out of this. And obviously side B, it takes a lot longer before you grab the edge. And the hurt box is huge. And I do like the side B change actually. And I actually like that Arcane has force recovery. But look at that hurt box. Like, I just don't get why why didn't Loxodon get recovery nerfs? Why didn't Raster get recovery nerfs like this? Why didn't Crag get it? Like, Clarion and Ranma got pretty big ones, but this is like kind of insane. Like, these are recovery nerfs in the term that, like, they're not easy to edge guard. Orcane legitimately just can't make it back to the stage nearly as often anymore. Down B has 8 frames more recovery. 8 frames more. Again, crack back air, 2 frames. Random back air, 1 frame. Okay, random back air, you know. It has worse speed. Easier to parry the bubbles from down B as well. Plus the frame 3 parry. Smaller area as well. And they're easier to ASDI. And I actually think this is probably the second biggest. This is probably the biggest nerf in the entire version. 4 frames of weight. 2 weight, not that much. I don't get why the fuck Orcane lost 4 weight and Crag lost 2 and Luxant lost 2. Like, what? Like, this single line is probably the biggest nerf in the game, in the patch. Outside of maybe like the other neutral B and this one. But we're not done. Jab nerfs here. They matter a bit more for Orcane because he's on the ground more. F tilt is now 9 frame startup, so you can't reaction textures with it anymore. And it has 4 frames more recovery. Again, Crag back air, 2 frames. This one, 4 frames. Up tilt recovery, 2 more frames. This is a good change. Neutral air can no longer bounce after it's parried. Forward air recovery, 6 more frames recovery. Again, Crag back air, 2 frames. Fleet back air, 0. Like fleet back air in the air. On the ground, I got 1 frame. Forward air can no longer break projectiles. Forward air hitbox is shrunk, so it's also smaller. Forward air landing lag is 4 frames more. Ledge attack now losing tankability after the first active window instead of second, so ledge attack is worse for edge guarding. Yeah, I think genuinely Orcane was completely gutted and is very clearly bottom 1 right now. I really dislike these changes. I understand that he's hard character balance, and I understand that it's trying to make design for toxicity, but they didn't even fix his back here, man. He got 0 compensation buffs. Not a single one. You want to go back to Crag and look at how many compensation buffs he got? This is the most represented character by far, right? And Orcane was the least one. Buff. 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 Buffs. Like, these are all compensation buffs to make it the same. Buff. Net even. Buff. Buff. This, I don't know. Net even. Buff. Net buff. Bug fix. Like, it's actually crazy. No, Crag is still top 1, I think. I think Raster could maybe get there, but I think Crag is the best. Okay, Force Burn. Force Burn recovery had a few rough edges to run around out related to his air slot movement. Other than that, he got a few quality of light changes that should make certain situations more consistent. Neutral B now stalls farthing immediately and has diminishing returns on the strength of the air stall. So this gives more reward for knocking Force Burn back off stage if he's already used neutral special recovery. Let me see if I can notice this. Yeah, I think Crag loses fewer matchups probably. Brain dead. Clarion is probably moved up on the tier list. Wait, sorry. How do I test this? It's so hard without a training mode.
Unacceptable.
Maybe if I grab the edge. Yeah, see how fast I fall there? And like the more until you land. But yeah, it's mostly noticeable if you get hit. Which I think is good. I think you should lose resources when you get hit off stage. I have no, like, more characters need that. Oh yeah, when you do Psybe toss, you can't drift. I was holding back there the entire time. See, like that? I can't drift back at all.
Acceptable.
Adjust the super clone attack choice to be consistent. I think this is a buff to super clone. You can also detonate it now during special fall window up B, like basically when they're recovering and they're falling from high up B. Teleporting into smoke with ground underneath it will now leave force mode on the ground, and when you up B, after hitting, if you hit an opponent, it resets his up B smoke count, and pressing left or right while an up special mid teleport will make force mode face that direction when he reappears. So basically, this is a nice buff where he can land and do this. And then, like, as you saw there, I can turn around as well. And yeah, if you like up B and then hit someone and then up B again, that doesn't happen, right? So basically, up B, hit someone, up B, and I can do it again. And then, see? Smoke, Cloud Hurtbox is easier to hit. Easier to clear smoke. Up tilt is way more consistent. Very nice change. They fell out of that move so often. Jab is worse knockback. No, wait. About this, more knockback growth. It's probably strong at higher percents. I think they forgot the note for this. But has a lot more recovery, so it's hard to combo from and hard tech chase from. Down tilt is worse. Slight NS knockback at low percent. Okay, so it's even easier to CC down tilt. F smash on whiff has 6 frames more recovery, but it is a bit stronger if you hit it. And that's it. Overall, again, I did not work on this patch. Patching games like this is very hard. There was also some holiday stuff involved and stuff like that. I think overall, there's a lot of good directions. I especially like when I've talked to them and what they've stated in the patch notes, right? Like where they said like, oh, recovery needs nerf, stuff like that. I just think that recoveries were not nerfed at all almost in this version. Basically, the only recovery nerfs that are even noticeable is the Clarion one, in my opinion, and the Fleet one, and the Arcane one. Then Crag nerfs don't matter at all. Or like the Crag. I think the Crag recovery nerfs barely matter at all. Only characters that could easily hit Crag when he starts up being matters. But I think that's only really like Fleet, who could like get out there, and Raster, who are already pretty good at recovering it. covering it. Force recovery nerfs matter. Burn overall stronger. Random recovery nerfs matter actually a lot. And yeah, killing floaties now is really fucking hard. I should do a quick tier list. I do have a lot of experience with this version already, so I might, if you guys want me to. 5 subs for tier list.